to talk about dislocation and misalignments in the shoulders. So these are my top five picks. Obviously, I can go on for hours about what poses to do for shoulders, but you don't have hours. You're trying to add this yoga, rehabilitation, restorative style to your already routine that you've given by your doctor. I also want you to make sure you're cleared by your doctor to start any workout or yoga training before you do any of these poses. So today we're talking about dislocations and misalignments, like I said. Now, one thing that's very different about this, as opposed to maybe strains and sprains that we talked about before, is that we're going to work really hard to strengthen the shoulder too now. When there's a misalignment or a dislocation, most of the time it's indicated that there's a sort of asymmetry in the structure of the shoulder. So there might be a multi-directional instability of the shoulder joint. So we're going to try and strengthen the whole shoulder joint. It's a three-dimensional joint, very complicated joint in all directions. Now, my first thing is you always want to be aware of your symmetry. If you've studied with me before or read anything, I am very much a stickler about symmetry. If you're going to train an athlete or a person that has an injury and they're off balance or misaligned, all you're doing is training and strengthening the misalignments and the imbalances. So it's very important to make sure that you are aligned and symmetrical before you go forward with any strength and conditioning routine at all. So we're going to start in a very, very simple pose, which is mountain pose, standing mountain pose. And I have Chelsea here again, and she's going to face the camera first. So we can see when she lines herself up in standing mountain pose, you can do this in front of a mirror. You can have someone take pictures of you so you have some point of reference all the time. But you want to look at your shoulders, okay? Sometimes people that have dislocation or misalignment injuries, yes, will be like that. You will literally see that, and they don't even know it. Until you're made to look and see, then you understand what's going on. So if this is her posture, this isn't just affecting her shoulder joint, right? This is affecting her neck, this is affecting her hips, her spine, into her hips. It'll affect how she runs. If you're an athlete, it may slow you down. It may make you have to work harder and you're not even realizing it. So take a minute, whether you have an injury or not, and stand in front of the mirror in the morning. Close your eyes, roll your shoulders up, back down. Take a look and see how high your shoulders are. So this is your sort of observation kind of pose as well, right? You want to feel your feet on the floor, nice deep breath, tall, open posture, not slumping forward, a lot of space. Simple as that. So this is your assessment pose, okay? Right? You're going to look, you're going to see imbalances, and you're going to have a very clear idea of what you need to work. A lot of times, if she had an injury in her right shoulder, the other shoulder starts to get tired, imbalanced, overworked, and abused because this one doesn't work for you anymore. So now this is going to take over the brunt of her life, and it just goes back like a ping pong match, okay? So we're going to turn you now, still in standing mountain pose, and we're going to go into chair pose. So we're going to start to build a little bit of strength in her spine and the shoulder joint, okay? She's just going to sit in. I'm going to give you can tap me on the shoulder when you're holding chair pose a little too long. You could have your feet hips width apart like she does. You could have a block between your knees, or I like to do it with my legs all the way together so I really feel knees together and strong. Clearly, this is working the legs too, but we want to see a chair pose that has the hip joint, the shoulder joint, elbow joint, and wrist joint in a straight line. So that upper arm is right alongside her ears, and she's sitting into this imaginary chair, and at the same time when she inhales, she's launching off and lengthening her back with a lot of pop through her fingers. So every breath is opening up side body, opening up shoulder, and just holding it in this position, however easy it seems to you, is building strength in that shoulder, right? So even if you came into straight legs and came out of chair and did that, just holding the arms up alongside your head. And this is another variation of mountain pose, right? So we're getting two things in one. Upper arm right alongside the head, she's stacking the joints, really feeling the lift and the opening in the shoulder and side body. And if you're feeling really good, you can bring the palms together, get a lot of length in the body, and you could start doing a very baby back bend. She'll tuck the tailbone, engage, lift and open her heart, right? And now you're getting a little bit more opening here. All the surrounding muscles. The back is starting to open. People that have shoulder joint injuries tend to have back seizing problems. The back gets tight and stiff from protecting that shoulder. So we're opening neck, front of the neck, shoulder, anterior spine, chest. Hold here 5 to 10 breaths. And I should backtrack and say with that chair pose, maybe only 5 to 10 breaths, not 1 to 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And then bring your head up, nice and easy, and just let the arms drop down. Now we're going to take it down to the floor and really build some strength and bear weight on the shoulder joint. So we're going to go into Sphinx pose. Okay, remember the Sphinx from old Egypt, right? Lying on your belly, body's nice and long. So sometimes I like people to adjust and just lift your right leg up, make your right leg longer, and drop it back down. And lift your left leg up, make it longer, and drop it back down. Just so you feel nice and elongated in the lower body. Okay? And then you're going to bend the elbows and prop yourself up on your elbows like you're watching a movie at home. One of the key things for structure here is that the elbow is right under the shoulder. Why don't you scoot the elbow back another 2 inches? That's perfect. This is the most support for a joint. You want to stack the joints at all times. So you will never see the Empire State Building with the 20th through 30th floor off kilter. That is creating instability in the building, right? You could only do that if you had support structures. So it's the same thing when you're doing yoga poses. You want to stack the joints one on top of the other. That's the most supportive and the strongest place to be. So shoulder right over elbow. Now, show what people do. Some people will sink in and you'll lose their neck and they kind of just collapse onto the floor. That's not Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose has so much energy. You're pushing into the whole forearm, right down to the fingertips, and you're getting a lot of length in the neck. And then the key is to roll the shoulders up, back down, and bring the heart through. So you're pressing down into your forearms, you're pulling back, and heart goes through. You always want the heart to lead, not the head. That's a life lesson too, just so you know. Always lead with your heart, not with your head. And staying here, 3, 5, 10 breaths, 1 to 3 minutes. Close your eyes even from now and again and feel that you have equal weight in both shoulders, both arms, that you're not listing to one side. And just keep rolling shoulders up, back down, elongating, noting that this is a mild back bend, but the back bend doesn't come from the back. The back bend starts at your toes. So it makes it a lot more gentle as it's a more gradual back bend, right? And just keep holding it there. And then you lower it down and just bring your head to one side and rest. And I do want to make a note that these poses, while sometimes you'll be in vinyasa yoga classes or power yoga classes and you'll pass through these poses, it's a very different idea and a very different feel when you're doing these poses for rehabilitation or as a restorative pose. They're longer held, so they're going to tap into your strength, your weaknesses, you're going to see your imbalances, you're going to notice the truth, right? Where Sphinx might be easy for you to do in vinyasa, passing through for one deep breath, to sit there and hold it for 1 to 3 minutes is a very different thing. And it seems easy to look at, but once you engage in it, you're going to notice that you're really using your whole entire body. You're starting to use your breath. If you hold your breath, it's not going to work. And you're starting to tap into that mental toughness and focus just so you hold it there, right? And I do recommend that after a nice long Sphinx hold that you maybe press back into child's pose for a couple of breaths. Anytime there is a back bend, you just want to honor the back. And then we're back into a child's pose, which we addressed in a previous video on shoulder strains and sprains. Taking a few breaths, feeling that nice stretch in the arms until you can regroup and go into the next pose. So the next pose, one of my faves for opening up the chest and the anterior deltoid and the spine and the neck, because they're all connected, right, is we're going to do fish. And we're not going to just do regular fish, we're going to do supported fish pose. So Chelsea's going to sit down, right? She's going to stretch her legs out. Sit upright first, and legs nice and straight. And separate the legs as wide as your mat. And just let them flop out. I just want them to be totally relaxed. Okay, she's obviously going to make this look very easy, so I'm going to tell you what you might be feeling when you go here. I'm going to place the block behind her. The key here is to get into the pose and still have the hips connected to the floor And someday, spine, neck, shoulders are so open that the top of the head will touch the floor as well. So you're going to bring your hands alongside your body, and you're going to lie down. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And her head easily touches the floor. But don't be fooled, that might not happen for you. And her arms are going to come out to the side, palms face up. Total relaxation, totally resting. Now, a lot of my clients cannot get the top of the head to the floor, especially in the beginning. So I roll up a towel and I place it under the head, because you do want the head to be relaxing no matter where it is. Some people may need even a block. You can only go this far, right? So she's making it look very easy. Don't be upset if you can't get your head down very, very quickly. So we're relaxing here. Clearly, this is opening the anterior spine. Our whole entire lives are forward on computers. If you're a mother or a father and you have little children, you're forward. If you're driving, you're forward. If you're on your phone, you're forward. And we always close up the anterior spine, which weakens the abdominals and overstretches the back. So we're trying to undo that, give more space and mobility in the spine and neck, and therefore more space and mobility in the shoulder joint, which is our goal, right? So you're relaxing here, nice deep breath, set your timer, 1 to 5 minutes. The first minute might be a struggle, but you'll notice in time as you release and relax, it's going to get better and better and just be more amazing, and you'll end up learning to love it, right? You do want to make sure that block is in between your spine, right in center, and that you're just melting, feeling this gentle stretch. Gravity's going to take over. You want to feel how your hands hit the floor, because this is going to be able to give you an indication and an assessment on your misalignment. So if you close your eyes, and if you notice this arm, I only feel my pinky touching the floor, but this arm, when it's relaxed, I could feel the whole back of my palm touching the floor. That's clearly a misalignment, right? You're losing some of the rotation in that right shoulder, and you got to work to get it as open as the other side. Feel how you hit the floor. Do you feel the same weight from fingertip to elbow on the right as you do on the left? I encourage you to either film yourself or have people take pictures of yourself in these poses so you can analyze and see if one shoulder's higher or lower, and if that's in alignment with the injury that you're nursing, right? This is kind of good, right?
It feels really good.
It feels really
loving
good.
it.
I know, I like this one too. But all good things must come to an end, and coming out of this is very specific, and I'm telling you right now, it might not be easy, okay? So listen very carefully, and I hope you listen before you're actually trying this. You are going to bring your elbows underneath your body as close to that block as you can. Okay? You're going to start to feel that they're maybe taking on a little bit of the weight now. And then you're going to push the elbows back towards your head until you start to feel that your elbow is secure into the floor and your arms can bear weight. And once that happens, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, bring your chin up to your chest. Bear weight in the arms, bring the elbows back, 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 and then you're going to come all the way up to seated. It may not be easy, especially if you really released and relaxed. Coming out is not very easy for a lot of poses. But you should feel your posture right away open up. You should feel that you're a little easier breathing. Your organs are going to have more space to function and oxygenate the body, and therefore heal the shoulder. Good one? Love that one. We should end on that one, but we're not. So we're going to go to Cobra Pose now. And like I said in the beginning, dislocations and misalignment are an indication of multi-directional instability in the shoulder. So we want to start to build strength in the shoulder. So kind of like Sphinx, only a little bit more intense. Lying on your belly, lift one leg up, lengthen it out, lift the other leg up, lengthen it out. If you have low back issues and you're feeling a little pressure, then you want to maybe emphasize pressing the hips down into the floor and easing that low back. You're going to set the palms up like Chelsea did, with palms flat right under the shoulder. So that means the hands are not here, right? That's not under the shoulder. The hands are not way back here. That's going to hurt the wrist. Hands are right underneath your shoulder, elbows towards each other behind you, and you're going to feel the hands on the floor. Circle the palm, lengths of the fingers, push into the entire hand. You're going to have to focus on pushing into the pointer and thumb side of the hand, because that's where most people roll off, and then you're going to feel much strength. You're going to feel maybe some wrist issues, so make sure you're plugging that whole hand into the floor. Roll your shoulders up, back down, and you're going to push into your hands equally and roll it up. Roll it up as far as you can. If your hips start to come off the floor, you may want to stop. She has a super flexible back, so we're going to bring it down a little bit and show where us normal people go, right? Which is right about here. Could even be lower. Could even be even a little bit lower. It's going to be hard for her to hold that, but give me your safe word when you want out. So palms are flat, fingers spread, right? We're tucking that, we're really plugging that whole hand into the floor. She's going to keep rolling her shoulders up, back down. Like we said before, heart leads, not the head. Roll up, back down. You're building strength in the tricep, in the bicep, in the shoulder joint, which is really important, in the neck, and very much in the back. If you really want to rock it out, you could take a deep breath, lift your hands a millimeter off the floor, and see where you are. So that's her true cobra. Then she'll put her hands back down and enhance it a little and push up a little bit more. Good. Roll the shoulders up, back down. Hold this 5 to 10 breaths, maybe 1 minute. Take a rest and do it again. So get a lot of length from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. I'm getting the feeling like she wants to come out of it. So lower it nice and low. Turn your head to one side. I suggest you do it 2 or 3 times because you can't hold that one as long, but you're going to feel strength building, right? We're going to build strength in that back, front, shoulders, arms, and that's all protecting the shoulder joint. After she did it 2 or 3 times, then I would say nice and gently press back into your child's pose. So for dislocations and misalignments, my top 5 yoga pose picks are mountain pose with the extended arm, chair pose, sphinx pose, supported fish, and cobra, ending in your child's pose with a few nice deep breaths. You could do these every day. You can do them pre-workout, pre-physical therapy. You could do them every other day. I do suggest when you're there, you find a nice quiet place and really take some time to tune in and feel how you feel when you're in them. If you feel zapping, knifing pain, adjust the pose or don't do it for now. If you feel maybe some tingling in the fingers, maybe there's still an impingement or swelling or really deep tightness going on in the shoulder, so just tread lightly, back off a little bit until in time you can be as deep as Chelsea was in those poses. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.